Well, that's a valid point, isn't it? There was a BBC poll some time ago now. I wish I could remember the exact percentages. I'm afraid I can't. But Rhodri Morgan was the only political figure in the Assembly who really scored high on public recognition.
Oh, absolutely. As well, I would hope as First Minister he would score high on recognition. That goes to the job, I would argue.
But you'd also hope that those wanting to succeed him would already have made some kind of an impact with the voters for the work that they've already done.
Yes, but I think it's difficult if it's difficult for somebody who's a constituency AM who does the daily, not in the cabinet maybe, or do it in the cabinet, they go about their business. They haven't really got that high profile that their job gives them with the media. And I think that will come in time anyway, A leadership contest would bring that about.
I think those heirs apparent have been evident since 2005 when Rhodri Morgan first said, he intends standing down. However, there's been an incredible amount of party discipline in as much as they've decided to hold it together quite tightly during the last few years. But now is the time for those three to emerge and there to be clear communicated messages to the people of Wales as to what can come next.
But if you're faced with a vacuum, which in some instances that you are here, of who is going to be this individual? There's been no clearly anointed successor, no clear individual that sort of bubbled up. The media then fills the vacuum, and when you fill when you create it with a vacuum, this is where a lot of the divisive politics has come from, particularly in the United States. You've got a Republican Party, for example, that has absolutely no leadership other than a crazy lunatic talk show host, and you have to be extraordinarily careful that you don't fall into that sort of a situation. We're not grooming our leaders, and if you look back even to the time of 20 years ago, we became more focused on greed and growth and less on, well, what is the future going to look like and what are we going to do to build, it doesn't matter what party it is, whether it's Labour, whether it's Lib Dems, whether it's Conservative, you don't have the positions and the people in place to really sort of grow them.
Nigel, I'm interested in whether you've identified the candidate you think is the one to conduct the debate that you want to see happen on the bread and butter issues that you think are the ones that are important to Labour voters. Who is that person?
Well, for me personally, it's Hugh Lewis. I think is the most traditional. I could support. I've heard Hugh speak and what he believes in and what he stands for, what he thinks, where he thinks the Labour Party should move forward, and I agree with him on most of the issues. Nobody's going to agree with everybody and everything, but I would like Hugh to. That's the candidate I would support.
And what's your feeling about the coalition and whether or not that is something that a new Welsh Labour leader should pursue wholeheartedly or not?
Well, at the end of the day, the voting system, I think, is designed to deliver coalition government. But then again, I think if you're in coalition, you've got to be a hard negotiator. You've got to know what you stand for. You've got to have principles, and there's got to be lines in the sand. Whereas I feel that the last couple of years, the Assembly has managed to park itself in a cultural cul-de-sac where it hasn't really dealt with the bread and butter issues. It's been more interested in cultural issues and so on. On the door, when I go knock in, it's if you knock the doors down in Rogerstone and Riscar area, they want to know about what you're doing to save Alcan. If I knock the doors in Merthyr Tydfil, they'd be saying, why didn't you save the Hoover factory, and so on throughout. Those are the issues that they should be dealing with. There's another dimension to this as well, that over the last sort of 10, 12 years, the Assembly has enjoyed lots of funding from the UK government. Within the age of austerity, as we keep being told, there's going to be hard choices to make, and we need a leader who can make those hard choices.
You bring us neatly into the background or the wider context in which this contest will be had whenever the starting gun is fired. And of course, we don't know who the complete field will be because no one's officially declared that they want to be candidates yet. But I know you want to come in, Denis. Just give me 1 second. Iestyn, what is going to be the impact of the recession and a general election across the United Kingdom that has to be held within 9 months?
Well, there's some stark choices for the Welsh Assembly government over the kind of things it's chosen to fund. The very populist approach of free parking and free prescriptions surely can't be sustained coming into the future. Otherwise, we're going to see the wheels fall off key programmes such as the foundation phase, which is one programme which has the capacity to engage with the people in Riscar and Rogerstone where I live and the people in Merthyr where I used to live.
Right, and just to explain what that is, it's a new system of education really for primary school children, which is aimed at getting them to learn outside the classroom.
It's gone down fantastic with parents. It's a real demonstrable difference that's outside things of economics, which are the things which normally turn people onto politics, the pay packet issues. So if you have young people and children in school who are going through the foundation phase, it has revolutionised what you believe Welsh democracy and devolution can do. So the government in Wales, whoever it is, has to preserve those unique things which give it some reason to exist. So those choices have to be made, and we've never been there before in devolution. We've had comprehensive spending reviews, but we've never had such austerity, as we've alluded to, likely to come to us as we're going to have in the next few weeks and months.
I think what you're also going to see happen is that, we were talking just a second ago about coalition. There's a very big word right now called bipartisanship, in which, parties are going to need to come together and forge compromises. There's a very strong ideological bent to every one of these parties, and I don't see a lot of willingness to compromise, a lot of willingness to move forward, even coming together with a decision that all sides end up hating, but you do know that you've at least accomplished something. So that's going to be a key issue going forward, no matter who the next leader is of this particular position.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'm very grateful to you for coming in and taking part in this discussion for us. We are grateful. Thank you very much indeed to Nigel Dix, Iestyn Davis and Denis Campbell. Thank you very much indeed.